Thank you very much, Frank, and I'd like to say thank you to IFPRI for putting all this effort into this project. It's a very impressive report, and I hope it goes a long way in helping affect our policies that we're facing in the future. I was asked to talk about getting the technologies to the farmers. And at CNFA, that's something we've been doing for about 20 years now. And also, I'll also address the private sector's role. So to start with, did we make that work? The green button? Yeah, it's a simple thing. Okay, quickly, CNFA in brief it's been around for 25 years, and we are in the business of promoting commercial oriented agribusinesses in the developing world. And we've been involved in about 38 countries and done $350 million worth of project work and about currently in about 11 countries. To make it very simple, our mission is to stimulate economic growth, to improve our rural livelihoods in the developing world by empowering the private sector. So the private sector is a big part of what we work on with productivity, input supply, economic resilience, value chain development, volunteer technical assistance, and access to finance. The point of the presentation comes down to these farm store models that we've been doing for the last 20 years. They come in three categories: farm service centers, machinery service centers, and agro-dealers, and I'll quickly give you some examples of those. These have been put in place in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, fun places like Afghanistan, and in several countries in Africa. Kind of the chart on the right sort of tells a story about what this is about. This is a distribution network for many things, but it's a way to have a local entrepreneur in a village have available inputs, provide the training, deal with credit in some ways, and also approach output marketing. Now, so it works both ways. It's distribution from the top down, and it's output marketing from the bottom up. The dealer's right in the middle as an entrepreneur in that village that's there year after year. Examples, in Moldova, it was, this went back to just following the Iron Curtain falling, but there was just a lack of input supplies to all these small farmers, so these dealerships were set up to provide the inputs, the technology, the machinery, and the training to get the inputs to expand their farming operations. Afghanistan is a little different situation. At the provincial level in Afghanistan, and you see in the colored areas, these 17 farm service centers were established that were sort of province-wide, provincial-wide, and they had sub-dealers kind of scattered around the province to actually provide these inputs. And in addition to having these 17 dealers, they joined together to form a farm service center alliance where they were able to buy bulk purchases. Getting bulk things into Afghanistan is kind of a problem, so they were able to join together to get those things in a timely and efficient fashion. In Georgia, a different situation. 33 farm service centers were set up, and these were full service centers, meaning not only crops but livestock, animal health, goods, and machinery service that was available to the growers who were left with no machinery to do their business with. And these, in addition to these farm service centers, there was these 21 service centers for just machinery were set up, where an entrepreneur would be set up with like 3 to 5 tractors, some tillage equipment, and harvesting equipment, and that they were a for-profit in business providing the services to the local farmers. This is not equipment rental. This is providing services, because if you send equipment out, it quickly, to a rental, it quickly deteriorates and becomes less useful. Okay, here we go. Now let's move to Africa. In Africa, one of the biggest problems is just access. The distances are great, the roads are bad, the time it takes to get to some place where there are products available and information is a problem. So having the access is step one. Being in the proximity is step two, and then extension. So that dealer in Africa is one important part of this extension service that we keep looking for a way to improve. And as evidenced by the decades of the agriculture dealer in America being a part of the extension service, this is the same thing exists there. The local guy goes to see his neighbor who's an entrepreneur, and he gains then awareness for what products are available and so forth. So let's talk about this Agrodealer model in Africa. It involves training of commercial trainers, because for a Agrodealer to be certified, he has to attend has to attend a school that they have to pay for in part themselves. There are some matching grants. There's credit guarantees for the dealer to get set up. They do demand creation activities, they work on policy issues, and they're also involved in output marketing. So first of all, let's talk about the training of the commercial trainers. These are individuals who have ag diplomas and go out and they get paid to actually put on the training for the dealers. I'll move on here since the time is short. There's matching grants for the certified dealers to actually, if they want to improve a property, see the one on the left and the one on the right, to set up their dealerships. There's some credit guarantees for the new dealer to get started. There's the demonstration activities are key. These dealers are in the community. They put on field days. They are a spot that can be visited frequently by the dealer. And as one example, CropLife Foundation and CNFA put on 2 years of demonstrations for herbicide use in Malawi and Kenya, and the results are phenomenal. How you can increase the yields, more than double the yields with one herbicide application, and reduce the labor by 50%. Let's get the women and children out of the fields and in the schools. It's a very positive demonstration. These dealer networks also deal with policy, and one of the growing parts of the dealer network is output marketing. It's a place for the local smallholder to take his products so that they can be aggregated and sometimes cleaned, dried, sorted, and made available to a higher price to a better buyer in the community. So moving on here, we got about 7,000 of these agri-dealers in Africa, and they've done about $170 million worth of input business in the past few years, and they're servicing a lot of families, which amounts to several million people that have benefited from this. And I think the one analysis shows that it's about 98 cents per person who gained from the benefit. Now, quickly on the international private sector. We could spend an hour on this particular topic, but moving quickly. As you all know, the international agriculture suppliers are spending billions of dollars a year on discovery and creation of new products or new machinery that comply with the new rules and so forth. And then they spend money on product development, commercialization, marketing, sales, distribution, and service and stewardship, which is the key part of this. Is they're there to be to make sure the products are used safely and so forth. They're doing several things. They understand, international ag suppliers understand the huge potential in these developing countries, and they're making investments in many, many ways. Special products, they're doing market research, they're making special equipment, they're making special package sizes, they're dealing with language, communications, and also the trying to get the being right on top of stewardship and safe use. Also wanted to make the point that smallholders, local dealers, and processors are a key part of the private sector. So when we think about the private sector, it's not just the international guys that show up, it's the private sectors starting from the smallholder. So why are these guys there? Well, they're there for a lot of reasons. They're available to not only supply the proper inputs at the right time, but to give the advice on how to use these inputs. And they have access to much technology and in a position to share it through field days and so forth. So with that, I'd just say that we think that the Agrodealer setup has proven in several parts of the world to be a very effective way to transfer technology to the smallholder farmer, and it's still underway, and we hope to expand that as a way to move forward. And thank you for the opportunity to talk.